Well, I recently booked a couple of days off work and decided to do a 48-hour session at the big lake. I told myself I'd treat it as a nice relaxing break because work had been mentally and physically draining for the past 2 weeks. With the crappy weather we'd been having during the first half of the year, I expected decent fishing conditions, but it ended up being the hottest 2 days of the year so far while I was there. When I arrived at the lake, I saw a couple of decent fish, and instead of treating it as a nice relaxing break, I worked hard at my fishing. And although the lake contains carp to around the 40 pound mark, all of the moving, swims and stalking paid me back with one small fish of about 6 pound. Due to the heat and the severe lack of sleep, I left the lake feeling 10 times worse than when I'd arrived. For about 10 days after that trip, I couldn't muster any enthusiasm for fishing whatsoever. When I got asked to do some maintenance work at the Syndicate lake, I decided to go up midweek and have a look at exactly what needed doing. And if I was going to a lake, there was no way I wasn't going without any fishing gear. So I stuck the floater gear in the car, and I'm so glad I did. Okay, I'm on my way down to the Syndicate lake, and we're going to be doing a bit of floater fishing. I'm also going to be assessing the lily pads. Fucking sorry, that were a bit of a grinder, but yeah, probably going to be coming down and taking some lily pads out of the weekend because they're getting a bit out of control. But yeah, hopefully this evening we'll be able to find some fish, and so say maybe get one off the top. So we'll get down there, have a good look, and see what's what. Okay, so once June the 16th comes around and I start doing my river fishing, the carp fishing normally takes a back seat. I just do evening sessions or early morning sessions. Do a lot of floater fishing, which tonight is perfect for. Now, it's absolutely roasting. I've got my stupid floppy hat on just to stop my stupid bald head getting burnt. We got down to the lake and I'm seeing fish already, so hopefully we'll be in with a chance. There's a lot of ducks been put on for shooting, but thankfully as soon as they've seen me they've scarpered off to the other end of the lake, so hopefully there won't be a problem. But yeah, I'll start getting a little bit of bait in, see if I can get anything feeding. I'm seeing fish in the lily pads down here, and I've also seen a few fish cruising out just out here, so there's one down there moving the pads about now just under the surface. So yeah, hopefully they'll I'll get some bait in and hopefully they'll start feeding. Okay, so bait wise, just normal mixers. They've been soaked in an oil, well not soaked, they've had a oil applied to them. They give off a good slick on the surface, and then once again the baits are the BPT wafters from Vortex baits. Okay, so they've just started coming up and taking the odd floater. I don't expect too much until later on. They're just cruising around on the top. When it's like this really hot, it's always the same. They'll cruise around on the top, not really pay much interest. You'll get the odd fish, take the odd one, but as soon as we get to that last hour of daylight, it usually comes alive. There's fish out there taking as well, so the drift's coming down into this little corner here. So I'm just going to keep feeding bait out there. There's one on the edge of the lily pads there. Just going to keep feeding bait out here and let it drift across and down into that corner. So the reason that I only do short sessions in the summer is I don't find the summer very productive for carp. Doing long sessions, 24 hours, I don't want to be anchored down somewhere and it be a bore lake to move everything. Most of the time when it's weather like this, really warm, the fish are on the top, and so they're easy to locate. Usually you can get them feeding, same as say when it's in the day when it's really warm, they'll be just cruising about on top. You might get the odd fish, take the odd floater, but come that magical last hour, hour and a half, they usually turn on and start feeding. Once they know there's bait there, I'll get here in the afternoon and keep putting bait in, just so that they know that there's bait there on the top. And so say usually that last hour to hour and a half, you can really get them going. So I'd sooner do that than waste my time sat all day. I mean, I go to some lakes and you see people sat fishing in like 10-12 foot of water. There's fish cruising about on the top, they're fishing the bottom. A fish swims over it and they're like, oh, that's right over my bait. And you're like, no mate, it might as well be a million miles away. It ain't going down in 12 foot of water just for your bait. So yeah, I'd just like to make the most of these opportunities when it's like this. It's really warm, really calm, and just see if we can get some fish. Now I've had a walk around on the other side, but for some reason there's been a fence put up and all the pegs around there are fenced off. But I have seen the fish cruising on the top and they've all been heading that way. So because that's fenced off, we're going to go and fish from the other bank. We'll have a walk around and see if we can find any fish down there, because as I say, I've been watching these fish and they have moved down towards that end of the lake, so no point staying here. I'm not seeing any now, so we'll follow them down there. Okay, so I've just got down to the other end of the lake, and as I suspected, the fish are down here. It's absolutely stacked out with them. I've gone taking mixers already, and there's some really good fish amongst them as well. Now my usual tactic in this swim is just to drift baits down the margin. We'll go down the margin and into that no fishing zone. You get the fish feeding, and eventually they'll follow the trail of bait up out of that no fishing zone back to where I can put it up bait for them. So there's bloody lot of activity out here at the minute. But yeah, we'll give it a go. There's bloody fish everywhere down here. So I'm not expecting to get many chances until that last hour of daylight. And hopefully they'll know there's bait there by then. And once they do feel like feeding, they'll come back and start feeding heavily on the bait that's going in there. Right, well, even though we're not up to that last hour, there's a few fish started feeding really well. So I'm going to get a bait out there and see if we can nail one. So I'll just get casting. Right, now bait application is key in this swim. You don't want to be putting too much bait in that it all drifts down into that no fishing zone and the fish don't come out. The trick is just to keep trickling it in and draw the fish out of there. I'm just seeing a couple of fish cruising there now. So there's even more fish coming in from that end. There's even more fish coming in down here. A little bit of a breeze picking up as well. Yeah, still out there, still feeding. So yeah, fingers crossed we'll get one. Now we're in. Don't want to let him get down there. I'm going to try for this near side margin. we go, I stopped him getting down there. Just let him plod about down here. Keep him out of the way of any trouble. There's fish still feeding out there. He's right down here in the margin, he's not doing much. Feels a heavy fish, but we'll see once we get him a bit closer. Not going to put too much pressure on him. Having a go now. So he's just plodding about. Not seen him yet, so I don't know how big he is. There's fighting. Don't want him near them pads. The fish is still hammering the floaters where they've drifted further down. Let's have a look at you. Try to get under the landing net now. Come on. I didn't wait for the line to rip off with that one. I saw him come up and take the bait. Just wound down, tightened into him, and he was on. It does look a good fish. Oh. Come on, bloody hell. Fighting really well. No. Say he wasn't doing much to start with. He's really going for it now. Right, well the camera overheated and died while I was playing that fish. It is that really warm, so I'm not surprised. But it does look a very good fish. So I'll get him out, get him weighed, and then we'll have a look. Right. I'm just going to lift this fish up now. It's me PB surface caught carp by about £2. So a bit special for me. It's also the biggest fish in the lake, and it's just under 35, £34.12. And what a fish it is. Let's see if she's going to let me pick her up. She's had a good rest in the net, so it's going to be a bit lively. Calm down. Calm down. Calm down. Oh, oh Jesus. There we go. Floppy tail at 34.12. So probably spawned out. It's been out a lot bigger than that, but I'm more than happy with it. What an absolute beast that is. Cracking fish. Oh. Yeah, absolutely awesome fish. I'm not going to waste any time, I'm going to get her back. Oh. Okay, she looks about ready to go now. So let's lower the front of that retainer. Come on, girl, right yourself. Yep, and there she goes. Absolutely awesome. Okay, well after that, there are a few fish still feeding, but yeah, more than happy with that. I'm going to call it a night there, I think, and get going home while it's early enough for me to go and get some food. So no stopping at the takeaway on the way home. But yeah, brilliant little session. Same as I say, I do love it in summer. Short sessions, it's you're a lot more effective as an angler, and it pays off big time. You don't want to be carting tons of gear down, sat there for a weekend, nothing feeding in front of you, carp just cruising about on the top. It's surprising how many people see carp on the top and just don't fish for them, don't fish floaters. It's absolutely crazy in my book. Well yeah, really good session, so I'm going to call it a day there. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. Cheers guys, see you later.